Hello, I'm Justine Willis-Toms. Welcome to the New Dimensions Cafe. Today I'm hosting Dr. Regina Leffers, who is the retired director of the Center for Excellence for the Built Environment and professor of sustainable construction at Purdue University's College of Engineering. She teaches classes both in consciousness and meditation and is the author of This is Consciousness. I'm speaking with Regina in her home by remote connection. Regina, welcome to New Dimensions Cafe.
Thank you, Justine. I'm really happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have you. I know in your writings you describe consciousness as a cloud of potential awareness that permeates all space and material existence. But what is true is that much of our response to life arises from an unconscious pattern. And so you invite us to be more awake to the choices we're making. And I say, from this perspective, how can we learn to override our unconscious reactions and choose love rather than fear?
Great question.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we can do to be more aware in the moment is to practice a bit of meditation. Okay, when I mention meditation to people, a lot of times they say things like, "Oh, I can't do that." Okay, here's something that anybody can do, and that is that anybody can close their eyes and put their hand on their heart and simply remember or feel gratitude for someone, something, someplace. You can remember a vacation at the ocean and just standing there and feel grateful for that in the body. Okay, that gratitude. This is a tricky back door into a way to get to a meditative brainwave. So you can't feel grateful if your brain is not producing alpha brainwaves. So the back door is to feel grateful and know that that is a form of meditation, and everybody can do that.
So this is like an instant sort of way to as you say, backdoor, to experience that expansive consciousness. And it's like a personal altar that we're carrying around with us all the time.
That's a great way to say it. Yes. Yeah.
When I ran across that in your writing, and you were mentioning something about the practice of gratefulness and how important that is to move us into a more expansive facet of consciousness, my instant gratitude was when I used to ride my horse over a course of fences. And we felt so in sync. I felt in sync with myself, but with this other living being, this horse, and we're moving together in this wonderful way. And in it, I feel it in my body. And that's another part of all of this, is that you say that this expansion of consciousness is not just a mental process, but it's something that we embody. And that gives us a lot of information, right?
It does. Do you know one of the things that I think does not happen in our culture is that we don't learn to feel in the body. And yet, it's one of the most important things that we've got, right? It's what makes part of us who we are. We are also this body, and to feel it.
I remember when I was teaching riding, I would, and a young girl would be on the horse for the first time, and it would be really, really, really scary for her because she's up so high and she feels insecure. And I would start to tell her, well, remember, I want you to go down and feel your arms, and now feel your chest. Now feel your bottom right there on the saddle. Feel that and go down. Now feel your legs next to the horse's sides. And it would like bring her out of her head and down into her body.
This is just an aside, Justine, but about 2 years ago, I took horseback riding lessons for the first time in my life.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah, I love horses. I love them. When you're in the presence of, especially like Clydesdales for me, especially a horse of that substance, I just am connected
And
to.
they're huge. They're huge.
Yeah.
Yes. They're not just a little pony. I mean, that's a big horse. So
Yeah.
how was it for you? Did it work out for you in your lesson?
Well, it was something that I had always wanted to try. I did, and I'm grateful that I got to feel what that was like.
So how do we notice how we move from fear to love? I know that you have a toolbox that helps us to move into a more loving, expansive consciousness. Do you have any particular advice?
The very first thing I always go to is to gratitude, because you can't feel afraid when you're feeling grateful. The other thing I do is this, and this is also easy. If you're feeling afraid, if you can imagine behind your eyes a pillow, that your eyes, so you'd close your eyes and allow your eyes to just rest back onto this dark pillow behind the eyes. So when you do that, what happens is it changes your brainwave from beta to alpha. You can't imagine the space behind the eyes and not be in alpha.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very quick and very easy.
Is there also one that you talk about where you move your tongue?
If you just place your tongue on the floor of the mouth, both the front and the back tongue, just lay it down. And what that does is it immediately quiets the vagus nerve.
That's amazing. That's immediately available to us when we're starting to feel stressed out.
Yeah,
Just remember the behind the eyes, the pillow. I like that. You describe consciousness as having different facets.
yeah. And so the way I like to think about facets is that as we grow in any area of life, we expand to include more of what exists. Okay? Something can happen to us in life. Someone backs into me in the parking lot or something, into my car. Um, it can throw you back, so you contract into maybe a more constricted facet of consciousness, like belong or survive, even. Okay, the very first one, and and so um, so we're more like a rubber band. If we think about it too, we can be living in one of the first facets of consciousness and go on a vacation into big nature, wherever that is, mountains or ocean or those redwood trees, a grove of redwoods. I mean, it, and we can find ourselves for a moment purely present with that nature. And that takes us, it's an experience of be oneness, which is one of the largest, most expanded facets of consciousness. Be oneness or interbeing is the eighth facet.
And when we're there, we are in a more creative space, I think, or generative space, or empathetic space. And we can remember that Redwood Grove, any time when we feel constricted, we can switch in a moment our consciousness.
We can, and we can develop ourselves. This is if we know what the facets are, we can identify where we are. Because if we're in pain or suffering in any way, we are probably functioning from within a facet that's too small for who we are. So if we can just grow ourselves on purpose and live from a more connectivity, more of a oneness place internally, we'll be able to create a world that's a lot better.
Does meditation help?
Meditation would be the answer. Meditation really helps. It helps behind the scenes. The other thing that would help is if we knew what each facet of consciousness is, enough to be able to recognize where we are, and then take the steps to move into the next more expanded facet of consciousness. That's something that we can do. Human beings have this whole operating system that we don't know about, and how can we grow ourselves into a more expanded facet of consciousness if we don't know about it?
Well, I just want to tell our listeners that you have just outlined really beautifully these different facets of consciousness. And so pick up the book. It's What is Consciousness? And you use a language that is more accessible to us than, let's say, the language of spiral dynamics. But you have really brought it to us in a way that we can digest it and make it part of our lives. So thank you so much, Regina, for doing that for us.
I'm grateful to hear that. Justine, it makes me so happy that you have read the book and digested the material. And you're saying to me that exactly what I wanted to happen when someone read the book happened.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Well, I encourage people to pick it up and have the same experience that I have had. Thank you so much. Do you have a quote that inspires you?
I do. And so two things actually came to my mind, and I'm going to combine them because I feel like they're two of the most important things for human beings. And the first one is Emily Dickinson's Love is All There Is. And then from Rumi, the breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the door sill where the two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep.
Oh,
Those two
lovely.
combined.
So, how did those inspire you, Regina?
Emily Dickinson's Love is All There is something that I feel in every cell of my body. I feel love. And so that love is all there is. I feel like that's the truth. And all we have to do is step into that, to bring our awareness, to notice what we feel in the body. So that's the first one. And the second one is to stay conscious, stay aware, awake right now, because love is all there is, really.
I've been speaking with Dr. Regina Leffers, who is the retired director of the Center of Excellence for the Built Environment and professor of sustainable construction at Purdue University's College of Engineering. And Regina teaches classes in both consciousness and meditation. She's the author of This is Consciousness. And to learn more about her work, go to her website, reginaleffers.com. She spells her last name Leffers, reginaleffers.com. Or you can get there through the New Dimensions website, newdimensions.org, where you'll find more than 2,000 programs in our archives. I'm Justine Willis-Toms, I want to thank you for joining us at the New Dimensions Cafe, and I invite you, please do join us again.